What is going on there, tailgate trash talk fan? Got a little technical difficulties over there with Mr. Gary Freeze on that end. We'll get it figured out here. But welcome to the Tailgate Trash Talk podcast. Gary.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, buddy.
Why can I not hear you? We're back to this bullshit. It's been working for fucking 3 weeks.
Right.
Fucking technology. Good God. Oh, my Lord. Here we go. I'm going to exit all the way out, and I'll try to join again.
All right. All righty. Well, hey, while Gary gets back in and logs back in and hopefully figures out everything, welcome to another podcast for Tailgate Talk. This is episode dose of the podcast, and we appreciate all the viewers that we have. And already one of the comments, Mr. Gary Freeze Sr., appreciate it, sir. Thanks for joining in for episode 2. Got another exciting podcast here for everyone this week. So we will talk about last week's episode. You got it now, buddy?
I'm a dunce.
There we go. There we go. Mr. Gary Freeze is back in the house. And again, welcome to the Tailgate Trash Talk podcast.
Hello.
I'm one of your hosts, Big Stove. Alongside me is Gary Freeze. Welcome, sir, and thanks for fixing those technical difficulties.
I fucking turned it on mute earlier. I had 2 things going on and turned one on mute, and I fucking didn't unmute it.
Hey, it happens. It happens.
So not a technical difficulty. Technical difficulty.
Yeah, just human error right there, bud. Human error.
Yep. End user, always the problem.
It's always the user problem. That is correct.
We're in business, though.
We are in business, and this is week 5 of college football season. Last week, we had a great slate of college football games.
Hell yeah.
This week is no different. I think it's even gotten better than last week. And last week, we had a ton of awesome games, and there were a handful of games that we had talked about last week that we kind of, were our quote unquote, the tailgate top 5 games that we were picking last week. But just a little recap. Here's the top 25 scores here. Friday, you had Fresno State coming back from behind.
Ooh, that got dicey.
That did get dicey against UNLV. Fresno State was pretty much behind, I think, the entire game and came back and won. Jake Haener threw 5 tutties in that game for Fresno State. And if you recall, Gary, Jake Haener was on
Is
my
he in your
top
list?
5. He was on my list for Heisman candidates last week.
I'm gonna be honest.
This week, I don't know.
At about halftime, I was like, man, this dude is gonna fucking flop like this the week after Stove gives him his fucking due.
I know, right?
God, what the fuck?
Now, I at halftime, I saw the passing stats at halftime. It was ridiculous. Like, it was a total different Jake Hayner than we'd all been coming to see and everything.
And UNLV is terrible.
Exactly. I think Jake had maybe 65, 70 yards passing at halftime, and his completion percentage was below 50%. But ended the game with 5 tutties, 1 INT, and led them on a comeback. And his I don't know the wide receiver's name, but he had 4 of Jake's passes for tutties.
Yeah.
So, I mean, tandem deal right there.
Huh?
Exactly. So moving on, oh man. Yeah, we'll skip the Nebraska Michigan State one for right now because that was one of our games of the week last week. So moving on, Georgia Vandy. Not much you can say right there, other than the fact that Georgia almost put up as many points as Vandy did total yards for the entire game. Vandy is terrible. I don't know what they're doing in the SEC right now, other than baseball, because that is all that they bring to the table.
Yeah. A little bit of basketball here and there. Once in a while, they got
once in a great boom. Exactly.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Wow.
That's a conference game in a Power 5 conference. 62 to zip.
Oh man. Moving on, we had Villanova, Penn State. Not much of a game there. Penn State took care of business. Then it was moving on to the next game. This was another one of our picks of the week, so we'll come back to this one. But it was Notre Dame 41, Wisconsin 13. Then moving on, UMass and Coastal Carolina, and this was one of my games that I had picked, and it was one of those fun facts, and we'll just touch base on it here real quick. Yep. But if you guys recall, last week I told you guys to take the points.
Yeah.
Take it, because they were only giving them 36. And I said, that is ridiculous. The Minutemen of UMass had not won a game in almost 2 years. They hadn't won a road game in almost 3 years.
Yep.
And they were given 36. They were 36-point underdogs. At halftime, that point spread was covered. Like, we were good to go. You were in the clear at halftime for that game. So congrats, Coastal Carolina. The Chanticleers move on and move up. Next one, Colorado State 14, Iowa number 5 at 24. That Colorado State kind of gave them a little bit of a test there, but in the end, the Hawkeyes prevailed. And then moving on, this was another one of our games of the week. West Virginia 13, Oklahoma 16. We'll touch base on that here in a little bit. Akron 7-59, Ohio State. Not much of a competition right there. Not much of a game. North Carolina goes down to Georgia Tech 45-22. Gary, you and I were talking about this one. What did you see in that game? What are your thoughts coming out of that game after North Carolina, who is a preseason top 10 team and a Heisman hopeful in Sam Howell, second loss of the season to Georgia Tech?
I mean, they might as well just the rest of the season is North Carolina getting Sam Howell ready for the draft, really showcasing him. They don't have much left to play for. Maybe they can sneak into Coastal Division, get into the ACC championship game, and play for a decent bowl. But yeah, Georgia Tech doubled them up. That team, Georgia Tech is a fine program. They've got a history, but Jesus, they should not beat North Carolina fucking by 23.
Yeah.
That's not good. I thought Mac had North Carolina on the right track. This one sets him back bad.
I even the Va Tech game that North Carolina lost, first game of the season when they went to Va Tech.
In Blacksburg is tough.
It is. Yeah, they had Inner Sandman going and everything. Yeah. The crowd was pumping.
That atmosphere is nuts.
Nuts.
They got nothing else to do in Blacksburg.
Exactly.
Sorry for anybody that's from Blacksburg. Yeah. There ain't fucking shit there.
Exactly.
There's a burger joint and Va Tech.
but it was one of those games where, and it seemed like North Carolina just couldn't get on track at all the whole entire game, and it showed. And like you said, Mac Brown, you thought Mac Brown had him on the right track, and so far, two early hiccups already early on in the season. So we'll see what North Carolina. Yeah, we'll see what they have to what they do the rest of the season. They still have Boston College, still have Clemson. So and Clemson's on the downside right now. So we'll see what they can do the remainder of the season. So
sorry, Danny Cannell, but the ACC is not going to the playoff this year.
No, definitely not. Moving on, South Florida 27, number 15 BYU 35. A little closer game than I anticipated as well there, but BYU pulled it out there and got the dub, and that's all that matters. Then the next one, Arizona 19, Oregon 41. Not much of a game there. The
Oregon looks the part, man.
Yeah, they do. They really do.
Yeah, they got athletes fucking everywhere.
They got speed. Speed. And okay, so this was one of the games. I don't know if you saw the clip or not, but it was plastered all over social media after the play happened. And I don't know the guy's name, but the wide receiver for Oregon caught a pass, first down, and then taunts. Gets the penalty for him, moves him back, and the coach just rips into him on the sideline, threw his headset and everything, and just started ripping into him. The wide receiver stood there, looked his coach right in the eye, and just took it. Yeah. I want to say it was Rod Gilmore, actually, one of the ESPN commentators for that game, was saying that there's no need for that in this sport.
Look, listen,
it was taken two different ways.
How do you teach a kid a lesson if you're not willing to get on him, right? Like there's a limit. He didn't get physical with the kid. He didn't, put his hands on him, that sort of stuff. So like, fuck, you're fucking toilet paper soft, bro. If you're talking about verbal accosting from the coach and that's too much, no, get out of here. I've always been somebody who responds to that, right? I want a coach to tell me when I'm fucking up. And to be honest, like get on him, chew him out. He's a fucking young adult. Like we're not talking about like, Bantam football and Pee Wee football and Little League and shit, right? We're not talking about 9 and 10-year-old kids where, that's too much. These are young adults. This dude's about to be in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I applaud the coach for that, man. Get on him, because there's no room for that. Like I think they were up like 20 at the time. Yeah. They were up pretty big at the time. It's a first down too, and you're taunting. Like you didn't score a touchdown, so what are you doing?
Exactly.
So I'm all for it.
I'm right there with you. I come from a background of coaching where, if a coach wasn't getting into your face and, coaching you up from a mistake, then he didn't care about you, and for all these snowflakes out there who thought that right there was abuse and everything else. No, it wasn't. That was coaching. If he put his hands on the player and, started hitting him on the side or the shoulder pads, then okay, maybe then it could be somewhat called abuse or anything else. But what he was doing right there, that was a teachable moment. That was a coaching teachable moment right there. And I guarantee you that wide receiver does not do that.
He ain't gonna do it again. Man. He ain't gonna do it again. No. And I mean, like, there's a couple, like Michael Dieter said, my cousin says, they do it in Pee Wee leagues. Yeah, like they do in some, but it's too much, right? Like I coach Little League. Like I literally am actively coaching Little League right now, and like you don't get on kids like that, right? Like that's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
But this guy's in fucking college on a scholarship. He's about to be in the NFL. Like. I'm not with Rod on that one.
No, definitely not. Okay. Ronald Stokes, what about them Hogs?
Oh, we're getting there.
Ooh,
yeah,
we're getting there, bud. We're getting there. Stay tuned. Got a special surprise for you on that one later on in the show. All right. I had my little rant about that, so we'll move on here. The next game. This was one of our other games of the week. Texas A&M 10, Arkansas 20. We'll come back to that one, touch base a little bit there. Iowa State, Baylor. Iowa State goes into Baylor and loses by 2, 31-29.
Yeah. They didn't do as bad as the ATF in Waco, but that's
very true. Very true.
That's a tough loss. I think Baylor's better than their ranking, honestly. But still, I fully anticipated Iowa State to go in there and win that game.
I'm totally in agreement with you right there. I thought Iowa State would go into Baylor and knock them off, give them their first loss of the season. Did not happen. Baylor Bears are ranked now this week, I believe.
Yep,
number 21 for this week. So,
So
yeah, give it to the Bears for handling them Cyclones. So,
yeah, buddy.
Next one, Clemson, number 9, falls to NC State, 21-27. We'll come back to that one as that was another one of our picks of the week. Rutgers, 13, Michigan, 20. This was one of those games where you and I had talked about that Michigan could not overlook.
Yeah, they almost did.
They almost did. Yep. They almost did. Now, I think what their saving grace has been so far this season is they have 0 turnovers. For the entire season. So Michigan pulls that one out 20-13 against Rutgers, which, by the way, Rutgers has a decent program this year in the Big Ten. So it's not one of those patty cake games by any means, but when you're Michigan and the week before, you just put up 60 against Tulsa, but James Lill, UCLA.
Lay the points.
Laying the points, bud.
Lay the points. 3's not enough.
No. Nope. All right. Moving on. Georgia State 24, Auburn 34. Man.
This was fun.
You and I were going back and forth.
This was fun, man.
This one. I still feel heartbroken. I still feel heartbroken for this one.
Georgia State looked like for about two and a half quarters of this game, like they had the best athletes on the fucking field. It was unreal.
They
were just running it down Auburn's throats, 70-yard touchdown runs. Like, come on. This was awesome.
It killed me. It killed me to see Auburn come back and win that game. And the score right there, the 34-24, they had a pick six. They had a pick six there when Georgia State got the ball back there in the fourth quarter, and that's how it ended up being a 10-point ball game. Cost a lot of people some money though too. That pick six, but man, Georgia State had them. It was fourth and 10 or 4th and goal, and they missed 2 tackles, and they throw the tutty right there in the end zone. Wide receiver goes up for it and comes down. I'm like, no. I was waiting for the upset by Georgia State, by them Panthers there, man, but did not happen. Auburn survives the scare. They live on to play another game.
Yep.
Moving on, you had UCLA versus Stanford. UCLA comes out 35-24.
I believe James asked about this game last week too, and it was 6.5. We told him to lay the points. They covered.
You're welcome.
Covered.
You're welcome if you want.
I hope you made some money off it.
Yeah.
I'll send you my Cash App.
Moving on, we had Tennessee 14, Florida 38. Florida took care of business there against them Volunteers.
No surprise.
No surprise there, and really didn't come out very flat, with the game that they had played the week prior to Alabama. You might have thought there might be a little bit of a lull, a letdown in their play, but they took care of business there in the swamp. So, next game. This was one of our other games of the week. Kansas State 20, Oklahoma State 31. We'll come back to that one. And And then last game, Southern Miss 14, Alabama 63. Really no contest from the get-go. And when I mean from the get-go, I mean literally from the get-go, with Alabama returned the opening kickoff 100 yards.
It don't get any faster than that.
No. So,
and as fast as that dude is, it might really not get any faster than that.
Oh, man. So, but so we'll go back. We'll just go back in reverse order here. So Kansas State, Oklahoma State. This was one of our games, and we both called it here. We both called it last week. We picked Oklahoma State, and they,
our surprise.
Not our surprise. I mean, we picked them to win. They took care of Wildcat business down there.
Yeah, they were home. In Kansas State, to me, I think they've gotten a little bit of that kind of favor, like opposite of Baylor, right? Baylor's been kind of, in my opinion, disrespected a little bit that they weren't in the top 25 yet. They took care of business against Iowa State, and they should stay in the top 25, for the foreseeable future. But I think Kansas State's been a little bit of the opposite, where they've been getting kind of a little bit of a boost in the polls. They played a little stiffer competition than a team like Baylor, but we saw they come out and they were on the road, and Oklahoma State's a quality team. Don't get me wrong, and that was really the reason why I thought that this was prime for an upset. A top 25 team going on the road and losing. And I know, I think Oklahoma State was favored by 3 points or something like that. But
the underdog was, and
being that they were a top 25 team, it was prime to see one get knocked off by an unranked team.
Yeah. Well, so I heard an interesting stat today. So far, top 25 team, or out of the top 25 ranked teams have gone down already. And 13 or 14 of those teams were to unranked opponents.
That's a big number.
Big number.
That's a big number.
So,
I think we see this sometimes early in the season. Maybe not this many, right?
I don't think. I agree. More, I don't think we see this
early
many
in the season. The polls. It's just like the NFL too. Like picking games early in the season is tough, because you've got your 4 or 5 teams are going to be great, and then everybody else, it's like, well, did they get any better this offseason? And you see that with the top 25, the coaches are kind of throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks, right? Bama's, obviously, Ohio State and those teams, they're obviously going to be the ones that stick, with the exception of Clemson, who we'll get to here in a minute. But, but I think you see a lot of that early in the season too, where it's this team's ranked, they probably shouldn't be, and it's easier to see that in hindsight. So,
yeah. But no, good pick on our end. So we'll keep on picking.
Hopefully, people are fucking winning money with these picks,
right? And like we said last week, we are not held responsible for any losses or anything else like that. But we do welcome donations to the podcast. So, all right, moving on to the next game that we had picked: Clemson, NC State. NC State at home, Wolfpack March 27-21. This was another game, and you heard it right here last week. You picked it.
Yeah, buddy.
You picked it. We said
I was in the air a little bit, man, but I was right there, and we got there. We got there during the show. The fucking Wolfpack. And Clemson, when they scored that late touchdown, I thought, fuck, my upset pick is done.
Yeah, I know.
The unranked team never wins in overtime after they give up a late touchdown.
No, never.
But, look, NC State fucking did, and that's incredible.
And it was funny too that you mentioned that, because you and I were texting back and forth, and I said, "Damn it, I had the video and everything."
I had the clip ready.
I had the clip ready to post on social media where we had picked NC State over Clemson, and Clemson scored the touchdown, and both you and I said the exact same thing. Clemson's going to win now. They just tied it up. They're going into overtime. They're going to win.
It just seems to always happen that way.
Yeah. Well, especially with that defense, though. I mean, their defense is their saving grace so far this year, because their offense is abysmal.
Fuck out without that defense.
Wow.
They'd have lost by 40 to Georgia without that defense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. Moving on up. Arkansas, Texas A&M.
Yes.
This one, We picked this one too.
Yes, we did.
We picked Arkansas last week. We picked them, even though it was at a neutral site. We picked them. Texas A&M was favored. I think they were favored by 7.5, maybe.
It was a good margin.
7.5 or 10, 10.5.
Good margin.
Yeah. But Sam Pittman there, the head coach for Arkansas, he's got them going, baby. He's got them going. He's got them hogs a rolling, screaming out there. Woo!
Hey.
I mean,
yeah, buddy. They're playing bully ball too.
They are. You know, taking down Texas, taking down Texas A&M, two ranked opponents. Texas A&M was up there for possible.
They were borderline
playoff team, right? Exactly.
Yep, absolutely.
So
that was utter dominance by Arkansas. To be honest,
it did look like
bullied them.
Yeah, it looked like so far Arkansas in the first half of that football game, they laid it all out on the line, and they got on them early, and so then in the second half, it kind of looked like Arkansas had kind of slowed down a little bit, kind of lost a little bit of that steam, that momentum that they had in that first half, but they had built up that big of a lead that they could afford a little bit right there. Yeah. Man, and the great interception there too by Arkansas. Great game. This was another one of our picks. So right there, we're 3 for 3 for the week. So you guys are welcome if you guys are betting people.
Who's parlaying our picks?
No kidding.
Breaking the fucking bank.
But both teams have a good week this week as well too, and we'll touch base on that here in a little bit.
Yeah.
So moving on, the next game that we had picked last week was Oklahoma, West Virginia. West Virginia goes into Oklahoma and gets beat at the last second by a field goal. This was one of our first hiccups because I think we both picked West Virginia. At least I did anyway. I picked West Virginia. I can't remember.
I think I took the points with West Virginia.
Okay.
I think I picked Oklahoma, but I think I took the points with West Virginia. But look, Oklahoma, I don't even deserve the win for that. That's how bad they look, honestly. I don't deserve credit for the win on that.
Ronald Stokes Razorbacks threw the pork at them. Oh, pork at him.
Yeah. Wild pork.
But this was
Oklahoma deserved to lose this game.
They did, and we touched base on it last week when we talked Nebraska, Oklahoma from the prior week and everything else.
Lose that game too.
Oklahoma is not the team that they have been for the past 3, 4, 5 years. They don't. Their offense is not there. Now their defense has stepped up. Their defense isn't allowing the points like they were giving up 2, 3 years ago, but their offense, roles have reversed here. Okay, now you're banking on your defense to win you ball games where your offense is sputtering and can't get the ball down the field and put points on the scoreboard. We saw it with Nebraska too. That was their lowest points per game since I think 2018 or whenever Lincoln Riley took over. And now you have West Virginia coming in. So you have 2 weeks in a row where you have your lowest point scored in a game. And for all you people out there that are on the Spencer Rattler train for Heisman,
fuck off before it goes in the river.
Go somewhere. Go somewhere. Get off that bandwagon right now, because I will tell you right now, he is not it. He does not deserve to be in the top 5, let alone your top 10 right now. I don't care, if he's thrown 7 TDs and 2 INTs and his team is 4-0 right now. He does not deserve that recognition right now.
Trust your eyes. He looks like shit.
Man, for those people that are putting him in that Heisman consideration, I think are the same people that have him as a top 5 quarterback pick in the NFL.
Nope. Someone's gonna fuck up. Someone in the NFL, some GM is gonna see him at the combine, and he looks the part. The dude he's tall, he's pretty big, he's got pretty good build. He's gonna be athletic, he's gonna test well, and someone's gonna fuck up. Someone's gonna lose their job over picking Spencer Rattler.
Better not be Jerry. That's all I gotta say.
He's trading the farm for him. Dak and a couple of firsts. We're going to get Spencer, baby.
Yep. We've already touched base on Coastal Carolina, UMass. So we'll go to the next one. Notre Dame 41, Wisconsin 13. Now, this one right here, Wisconsin was the favorite. Notre Dame was the underdog
too, I think.
Yeah.
Like a decent margin.
I picked Wisconsin. I did. I'll admit it. I'll eat crow here. The score really, it was a closer ball game until
it got ugly late.
It did get ugly late, and it was pick sixes. Yep. They had, what was it, 4 INTs?
2 of them for TDs.
2 of them for TDs. I mean, but both teams had a non-existent rushing game whatsoever. Yep. So bank it on Notre Dame's defense. And you said it last week. Notre Dame's defense is a hell of a lot better than what it has been. Unreal. So kudos to you for showing that out there last week for the picks and everything.
That game, until it got really late, that game was about what I thought it would be. Jack Cohn kind of managed things on the Notre Dame side. Wisconsin was trying to run the ball and just couldn't get it going.
They just couldn't do it.
Notre Dame, like they've got athletes, big athletes too, like big, fast guys all over that defense, and they're going to put a lot of dudes in the first round of the draft over the next couple of years from that defense. Safety again, like I don't know what it is about Notre Dame, man. They just seem to always have a fucking top flight safety, Harrison Smith, and on down the line from the last 5 to 10 years, but they got athletes everywhere on that defense. Desmond Ridder better be ready to play this one.
Right. Yep. So that takes us to the last game of the week that we had picked, and it was Nebraska.
Go on mute.
No, you're good, bud. Nebraska 20, Michigan State 23, where Michigan State, I believe, was 5.5 points, 6.5 points favorite.
About that.
And everyone was taking Nebraska for the points there. I was taking Nebraska for the win. And some people did too. So this one's on me, folks. If you bet on Nebraska on this one, I apologize. I don't know how you fucking lose this ball game and you had your defense gave up 0 points, 0 first downs, and a total of 15 total yards in the second half. And again, just like the week before, what'd it come down to? Special teams. They're special, all right. They are special. I don't know what needs to happen besides hiring a special teams coach over there, but something needs to get fixed and fixed now. Like that is just one of those games. I was watching it. You and I were texting on this one too. Yep. Nebraska was up late there in the fourth quarter, and then that happened.
Yep.
Just don't get it. I do not get it. I have no words for it. So I apologize to anyone who bet on Nebraska, who took my pick and bet on Nebraska, because I'm right there with you. You and I were texting, and I'm in another group chat with a couple of my buddies from back home in Nebraska, and I want to say it was probably a good 45 minutes to an hour after the game was over, and I just sent one of those GIFs of someone just being like, fuck.
Yeah.
Just one of the – it still stings. It still stings to this day because you're talking about – you're going over it in your head like, what in the hell just happened? I have no words for it. It's Scott Frost is in year 4. Sam Pittman's in year 2. He's winning ball games against ranked SEC opponents, and you're losing ball games to Big Ten opponents. Like in
Yeah,
year
and we talked a little bit last week about Michigan State's been surging, and this was an opportunity on the national stage for Nebraska to, assert themselves, maybe salvage Scott Frost's, tenure to this point. And they had an opportunity to do it. And, I almost feel like this game is sort of a requiem for Scott Frost's tenure with Nebraska. Like, almost there. Like, there's talent on the roster. He's got a really good coaching staff. He's got a really good track record, both at Nebraska as a player and at every place he's coached. But it just seems like there's just something missing. And like from this game, it was just execution was missing. Late game execution.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that sort of stuff, I talk about it all the time to flip, switch gears to the pro game. But like I talk about it all the time with Washington, my frustrations with the fact that we're not prepared, we don't execute in game, and we're not disciplined. Those things come down to coaching. And I have to say the same thing here with Nebraska, that like special teams is something that you cannot take for granted at all. You have to put in the effort. You have to put in the time, the reps, all of that stuff. It's a dangerous, it's a high risk proposition when you're snapping the ball on a special teams play, whether it's a punt or a field goal. You're taking a chance that a lot of things can go wrong. Bad snap, bad hold, bad kick, bad everything. Like it can get blocked. You have to do that. So, and I think that what we're seeing, and it wasn't just this game, we're seeing some of this realization that this coaching staff needs to take a hard look in the mirror and figure out what they're not doing right.
Yeah.
From a preparation and execution standpoint. It's tough, man. I heard for you.
I know.
When that happened. That was.
It is what it is, right?
Unfortunately, I find myself saying that very often too.
I know. Oh, maybe we're just idiots for picking the wrong team. I don't know. Maybe we should just get on the Alabama train because.
Yeah, let me be a Bama.
They don't lose.
Buccaneers fan or something.
Man. Oh. All right. So those were our picks from last week. So moving on to this week, we picked about 4 or 5 games here for this week, and we'll go through those here real quick. Like, starting off with Friday. Gotta love the Friday game, baby. Love it.
I love Friday college.
I love Friday night lights, baby. Friday night lights.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, Iowa goes into Maryland. Then you have number 13 BYU at Utah State. Iowa, Maryland is we were talking about it today. It was one of those games that I had starred to possibly talk about, and you brought it onto the Taylor like, yeah, we're talking about this one, and I was like, great. It was one of those games that was starred for me. So Iowa, Maryland, 8 p.m. on Friday night on the road. On the road.
Not an easy out, man.
They're not. Does another ranked opponent go on the road and lose?
This is a tough one for me to pick, honestly. I wanted to talk about this game for this reason, because I looked at it and I'm like, man, Iowa's number 5. They're undefeated. They've had a couple of close games this year that potentially could have been trip-up games already. I want very badly to pick Maryland, and I've talked myself out of it a couple of times because of the talent that Iowa puts on the field and the fact that they're a top 5 team. However, I'm doing it. College Park is going to be fucking rocking.
Going with
Friday
Maryland.
night. Tauli Tagovailoa.
I was just going to say, who's their quarterback?
Yeah. He's going to make good. The Samoan Giant is going to look, I'm taking Maryland. Give me the upset. Book it. I'm all in for this. Give
you
me
can book
Terps.
it.
I can't wait to watch SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt at fucking midnight Friday night when the Terps upset the Hawkeyes. Book it, baby.
I love the pick. So let me see here. Iowa, 3-point favorite.
That's it.
That's
Seriously,
it.
like I'm not
That's
the only
it.
one waffling on this.
You're
Vegas
not.
is fucking waffling on it.
I'm right there with you. I am right there with you.
Yes, let's go.
We are on the Terp train,
Let's
baby.
go.
We're on the Terp train.
Saddle up.
The turtle.
Yes.
Terps.
Yes. College Park.
Book it. Friday night, yes. That the Friday ranked opponent coming into your home stadium at night under the lights.
Yeah, that place is gonna be fucking nuts.
It's going to be crazy.
If you miss this game, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's Friday night. There's nothing else on. There's no other football to distract you. Your team is not playing Friday night unless you're a fan of one of these two teams. Fucking watch it.
Yep. Corey, Gary, how did the Washington football team do this week?
He's a Bills fan too.
Check out our other podcasts tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow night. You can hear how disappointed
Damn it, Corey, go to bed.
You can hear how disappointed I am tomorrow night.
Oh. All right. So the next game that we are going to pick, number 1, Alabama versus number 12, Ole Miss. Danielson and Mr. Miyagi right here.
Yep. Pupil and master. Here we go.
So on this one, let me see. Alabama, 14.5.
That's a big number. That's
a big number. That's Alabama. So, I mean,
it is Alabama. And they're home.
Yes, that they are.
That's
are you going Roll Tide, or are you going with the Rebels?
Alabama's going to win the game.
So two Heisman contenders here, and Bryce Young and Matt Corral.
Yeah, my number 1. Like
he was my number one from last week.
So I'm picking Bama to win, but I think it's going to be tight. I think 14's too much. If I'm betting on this game, I'm taking the points. Give me Ole Miss plus 14. That's a lot. Wow. I think Ole Miss is going to be able to score. I think this game's going to be fucking unreal. Like, if you want to watch offense, this is the one to tune into. I think we're going to see like 52-48. Like, give me that kind of game. That's what I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see Matt Corral really put himself in a position to win the Heisman with this game, despite losing the game. But give me Bama, but I'm taking the points if I'm wagering on this game.
Okay. All right. Well, I am going to go against you on this one.
I love that fucking confidence. I love it.
I'm going Ole Miss. I'm going Matt Corral.
I love it.
And the defense of Ole Miss. Hear me out, okay?
It's better than people think it is.
It is better, and it's better than they have been the past couple years. They're actually wrapping up and tackling now.
Yeah.
The Bama defense will get to Matt Corral. Don't get me wrong. Like I think he's going to get probably sacked 2-3 times. He's going to be under a lot of pressure. But I think I truly believe that Lane Kiffin he's one of these guru geniuses.
He's bad genius, bro.
He's almost like a Mike Leach and the mad scientist and everything else.
He's so fun.
Here's how crazy I think it's going to get.
Ooh.
Okay. Hear me out. Hear me out. First series of the game for Ole Miss. Trick play.
Ooh.
For a tutty.
We're pulling out all the stops.
Trick play for a tutty.
You might see like hook and ladder left.
Corey, yes.
Corey. Yes. Tonight's college. We'll be talking pro tomorrow night. With
Backyard Blitz on Thursdays is. But hey, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, man.
Stay around for a while. Trash talk with us.
Hang around, drink a beer.
So I really think this is where the student gets the teacher.
Okay.
And I'm going Lane Kiffin.
All right.
I'm going Lane Kiffin and an Ole Miss Rebels here.
Hey, I like the pick. I do. I already said I think it's going to be a closer game. I certainly think if it's going to be that close, there definitely is a chance that Ole Miss can knock them off.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. All right. Hey, real quick, going back to this game. Okay.
Johnny, you know me too well.
Arkansas. Next week, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Alabama, A&M.
Yeah. That's look, the SEC slate next week is really good.
Next week's going to be a great slate of ball games. Yeah. Does Ole Miss pull up the upset this week and go
to Arkansas and play
Arkansas undefeated
matchup?
And could Arkansas be undefeated as well?
Is that going to decide the SEC West? Ooh, that's spicy.
Gotta love me some college football.
That's spicy,
baby.
Man. If Ole Miss can pull it off this week, that's spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sign me up for that.
All right, moving on to the next big game of the week. Ronald Stokes, your Woo Pig Suey Razorback. Georgia taking on Arkansas. College game day. Noon kickoff, though. Don't like it. Don't like it.
Early.
But hey, it is what it is. It's a noon kickoff, college game day.
I would have loved for the SEC to flex this game into a later slot. I think they made the schedule this year not thinking that Arkansas was going to be where they are right now.
Yeah.
Which is understandable because preseason, I don't think any of us would have picked Arkansas to be here. They've definitely overachieved, look like a great team, but I would have loved to see the SEC say, you know what? We're going to move this game into the 7 or 8 o'clock slot. Give me that game under the lights. Let the fucking dudes tailgate all day. Let's do it. I'd have loved it, but noon kickoff, it is what it is. I guess we all got to get up and have a Bloody Mary with breakfast and get ready for the fucking game.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course. So who are you going with, though?
This one's tough for me because I love what's going on in Arkansas, and I want them to keep this train rolling. But man, that Georgia defense, they look like the early 2000s Ravens. They're all huge. Wow. They're fast. That's what they look like to me, especially against Clemson. That was when I first noticed it. They were the best athletes on the field against Clemson's offense. And I know Clemson's offense is struggling because of DJ, but they still have a lot of athletes on that side of the ball. That Georgia defense is made good week in and week out. I just think that they're going to be too much for that Arkansas offense. So I'm picking Georgia and probably by a couple of scores to be. I hate saying that.
18 and a half.
I know.
18 and a half.
That number might be a little too much, but I could certainly see a 14 to 16 point game.
All right.
Georgia.
So you're going Georgia? Okay.
I think Bama's going to struggle to score against Georgia. That's how good that defense is. They are unreal.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Georgia on the Georgia defensive side of things. Man, like you said, they're lights out. I mean, this is probably one of the best defenses that we've seen in a long time. Aside from Alabama's defense, and
that Minka Fitzpatrick, John Allen, Hightower, all them guys, those Alabama defenses were the defenses I think of when I'm looking at Georgia right now. That's how much talent they have on that side of the ball.
Yeah, man, it's hard to go against Georgia on this one. It really is, especially Arkansas going into Athens and everything. But I got something for you, Gary.
Uh-oh.
I got something for you.
God, I love that. That's one of the best rituals in college sports. The Woo Pig, I love it.
The Woo Pigs are traveling down to Athens, and they're going to take down the number 2 team in.
You're doing it?
I'm doing it.
Oh,
Central this week,
man.
You want to know why?
Dude,
You want to know why?
I
Because
love the limbs that you're climbing out on right now, man.
I want to see Arkansas beat 3 ranked opponents, go 3-0, and then
face Ole Miss.
face Ole Miss.
Look, if Arkansas beats Georgia and Ole Miss beats Alabama, that might be number 1 against number 2, to be honest. Like, that might be the jump in the polls that those two teams make. It might be number 1 versus number 2 next week. And then we'll have a raucous fucking arena for that.
Can you imagine? Okay. Can you imagine just upset Central this week? The potential for the fallout, the AP poll, the coaching poll, whatever, but playoff implications as well. Because we're getting to that time where a couple more weeks, that first playoff.
Yeah.
Now
push is starting to come to shove here.
Yeah.
We're starting to see these matchups that matter. And instead of talking about, hey, they're learning, they're working on things, this is when you start to say this team could play themselves in or out of playoff contention.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm going to Arkansas.
I love that, man. I love that.
We'll see how it plays out. It's a bold move, Cotton. Bold move,
Cotton. I love it, though.
Oh, bold move. All right. Moving on down the slate, we got number 3, Oregon versus Stanford. I got Oregon going on this one. I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah.
Corey, I want to see Oregon get back in the convo. When I lived in Alaska, that's all I could see was Pac-12. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he went up there for dental school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Apparently, Alaska has one of the best dental schools in the country. Of all places.
Yep.
When he told me that, I was like 18 or 19, and I was like, shut the fuck up. Then he comes back telling me stories about, like, moose, like, standing in the road and making him late for class. Sounds incredible up there.
Yeah. Now, Oregon is ranked number 3 in the country right now. I don't think that they're we alluded to it just a little bit earlier. They got the speed. They have a ton of speed. It'd be interesting to see them go up against one of these SEC schools' defense just to see, how things would play out. But yeah, I mean, Georgia being back in, or Oregon being back in the conversation of top ranked teams and everything else is always good for college football, for the brand and everything else. So yeah, for sure. Number 4, Penn State versus Indiana, night game. I got Penn State on this one. No surprise. Number 6, Oklahoma at Kansas State. Kansas State was ranked last week, coming off of a loss at home against Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma doesn't look real good.
Yeah, we're going to take
maybe, but I'm not taking that upset.
I'm not going to take that one either. I kind of want to. I do.
I want to out of my hatred for Oklahoma.
Same here. I will take Oklahoma on that one. Number 7, Cincinnati at number 9, Notre Dame.
Yep. This is where I've got to put up or shut up, right? Like I have to, because I've got Ritter in my Heisman.
He was in mine last week too.
Yeah, I mean, I've been singing praises. I think I have him a little higher than you. I think you have him 4 or 5, and I had him at 3. I think, or maybe we both had him at 3.
I think we both had him at 3.
Maybe
last week.
Okay.
Yeah. But
so it's time for both of us put up or shut up week for Ritter.
Corey, Cincy all day. I like it.
I like his confidence.
I do.
That defense scares the shit out of me, though. Honestly, if I'm a Cincy fan, as a guy who's got Ritter in my Heisman contention, that defense scares the shit out of me. And it's in South Bend. I'm picking Notre Dame. I don't like that I'm picking it, and I'm fully aware that as I say that about the defense, it could ruin Desmond Ritter's Heisman campaign. I will verbally eat crow on this show next week, and I promise you, if Ritter goes into South Bend, unless Matt Corral beats Nick Saban, If Desmond Ridder goes into South Bend, he will be my number one in the Heisman contention.
Ooh.
That defense is that good that if he beats them in South Bend, he'll be my number one.
Ooh, it's a bold move as well. That big of a jump. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I got a little something for you, Gary, and it's one of those things.
I like when you got a little something for me.
I know you do.
Upset special's coming.
So before the week even started, and before we even talked about the games, I was all on Cincy here. Okay, I was all on Cincy until I saw this, and here we have our first ever trash talk.
Ooh.
All right, Desmond Ridder, when he was talking with his OC, this is what he said. He was warned by his OC about how loud Notre Dame would be this weekend. His response? I told him it shouldn't be loud for too long. You're just giving Notre Dame bulletin material.
Yeah, they're putting that one up on the wall.
Come on, bro. Come on, man. You're a Heisman candidate. You're in the talk of Heisman. You're in our top 3.
Yep.
You know, I mean, what we say matters.
Right.
So it's like, why
Yeah,
would you give the other team bulletin board material the week of a big game like this? It always comes back to bite you in the ass. Always.
Yeah, Corey. I mean, it
is
alpha, but there's no reason for it.
Like,
there's no reason for it. You can say that to your coach, right? You can say that to your coach.
Sure.
Don't go tell a fucking reporter that you told your coach.
Exactly.
Say that in practice and fucking leave it in practice. That's the alpha shit.
You tell
dumb shit is going to the fucking Cincinnati Enquirer and saying, I told him South Bend should be quiet after the first couple of drives here. Get out! Like, don't do that.
No. That's where you got to go. Yeah, should be a good game. Should be a loud environment. Should but we're ready up for the test.
His press conferences and just emulate that.
Yes.
He's got 7 Super Bowl rings and he's never talked shit in a press conference.
But I'm going Cincy.
I love it.
I'm doing it, bud.
I love it, man. You are upset central this week, and that's what I love about you, baby.
Yeah, baby.
I love it.
Corey, he's building the brand. He needs money. Sure. I mean, sure.
Yeah. He's probably got fucking Ben's Chili Bowl, or not Ben's. Ben's is in DC. What's the one in there's Chili's Cincy's thing. But he's probably got a bunch of sponsorships from Chili Joint. They put it on spaghetti in Cincy too.
Oh yeah, spaghetti red.
Yeah.
Don't knock it if you haven't tried it.
I haven't tried it, but it is.
No, you need to. Yeah.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
Look, I will eat it. I love chili. I love spaghetti. Throw some cheese on there. I'm good.
Great combo, bud. Great combo.
Exactly.
It also goes back to what we talked about last week with Cincy and Luke Fickell.
Oh yeah.
Cincy's going to win this ball game. Okay, it's going to be because of Ridder here, but it's the preparation from Fickell and everything else that I think wins the ball game on this one. Notre Dame's defense scares me, and you alluded to it last week. You've touched base on it this week and everything else. Hi, Amy Trotnick. Appreciate you showing up. Thanks. But for me, it's I don't know what it is about. And I think it might just be this football season. I mean, we've had 25 ranked top teams already go down, and it's only week 5. This is where he puts his stamp on the Heisman. This is a show up game for him. It's probably one of the bigger games of his collegiate career on a national level. It's middle of the afternoon on NBC, probably going to be on Peacock, unfortunately, but it's one of those games where if he wins this ball game,
he'll be peacocking.
He will be peacocking all over Notre Dame. So,
yep, absolutely.
You can book it. I'm picking Cincy on this one.
Look, assuming they run the table the rest of the way, because they are the class of that conference. If they beat Notre Dame, they might be playing in the fucking college football playoff. Like that's the other thing that's on the line this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Notre Dame's got some chances to go beat some teams in the ACC that could continue to build their resume a little bit. Like ACC sucks, but as long as Notre Dame continues to win, that win continues to look great. This might be not only the stamp on his Heisman, but it could be the stamp on them playing in the fucking college football play. Cincinnati in the college football playoff, potentially. If they can knock off Notre Dame in South Bend this weekend.
The first non-Power 5. We shall see.
Yeah.
2:30 Saturday. Be there, be square. Moving on, have number 10 Florida at Kentucky, night game. This one is always one of those that's a little tricky. In years past, Kentucky has tripped up Florida. Yeah. I'm going Florida with this one though.
Kentucky's sneaky at times, but Florida's got so much talent this year. They've really refilled the cupboard there.
Yeah. Number 11 Ohio State at Rutgers.
They should handle business. It should be a trip-up game. We saw Michigan struggle a little last week, but Ohio State should still roll a little bit.
Yep. Then moving on to our next game, number 14 Michigan at Wisconsin.
This is a dangerous one.
It is. And here is where I want to pick Wisconsin for a bounce-back game and Harbaugh tripping up. We alluded to it last week. Can't have those trip-up games.
Right.
Almost had it against Rutgers. Do you have it against a better football team in Wisconsin? Now, yes, Wisconsin played, 2.5 to 3 quarters of football against Notre Dame last week, and then wheels just fell off, and too many turnovers. I think that's going to be one big thing that was emphasized this week in practice was the turnovers for Wisconsin. But Michigan hasn't turned the ball over at all yet this year. Amy Trotnick goes Michigan on this one. It's hard. This one's a hard one for me. It is. I'm probably going to be going Michigan with this one as well. I wanted to pick the upset, but I can't. I can't do it on this one.
I'm going Michigan. I think this is one of 3 games that they've got circled on their calendar, and that was why I thought Rutgers could be a little bit of a potential trip-up game last week for them. I thought that there was going to be the idea creeping into their head. Wisconsin is, at the time they were ranked, and if they had knocked off Notre Dame, this was going to be a big, big game. It's still a big, big game in Michigan's eyes because if they go and lose this game, their season's over, right? Yeah. They don't recover from losing to Wisconsin because they've got tough games left on their schedule, and they'd have to have a lot of things go their way where they sit in the polls right now for them to get back into contention. Right now, they've got momentum. They're starting to get some respect in the polls. Beating Wisconsin would only continue that. And then, obviously, they've got their sights set on bigger things later in the season, especially that Ohio State game that really could determine, a lot of playoff implications there. So I think that Michigan is going to be locked in for this week. And I'm going to take Michigan in a bit of a knockdown, drag out. This one's going to look like an NFL score, not a college score. I'm thinking something like 2017, maybe 23-16, something along those lines. But I've got Michigan. I think they're going to grind. I think they're going to play good defense. They're not going to turn the ball over. And I think we're going to see Michigan walk out of Madison with a good win, not a signature win like it could have been if they had beaten Notre Dame, but a good win to propel them into the second half of the season.
Okay. So we're both on board there with Michigan. So good. That's one we can agree on this week. Mm-hmm. Hey, that's 2, actually. That's 2. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. We got number 15, Texas A&M, Mississippi State. I got A&M on this one. Night game.
Too much talent.
Yeah. Coastal Carolina versus UL Monroe, Louisiana Monroe there. Gotta go with the Chanticleers. So,
yep.
17 Michigan State versus Western Michigan. Michigan State should take care of them right there.
Listen, if they don't roll in this game, I think they're going to start to lose some of that momentum they got after the first few weeks of the season, especially after that Miami win where they dominated, because they struggled last week in a game that they easily could have and probably should have lost.
Yeah.
And if they struggle against Western Michigan this week, they might give back all of that momentum they got early in the season.
Yep, totally agree. Number 18, Fresno State, my boy Jake Hayner at Iowa. So for all you college football fans that love watching college football from sun up to sundown, this is one that you might have to take a little nap while you're watching some Pac-12 football being played. You know, that 9 to 10 to 11 time frame, because this game doesn't start till 11 o'clock at night.
That West Coast fucking time.
11 o'clock at night. They are playing in Hawaii, so I get the time frame, but holy cow. Like, I'm not going to bed. Right. I'm not going to bed until about 2:30.
I thought you said fucking Idaho. Yeah, Hawaii, they're way later than it. You're talking 5-6 hours behind. Yeah. Ooh, midnight start time.
So I'm going with Fresno State there. Could possibly see a little bit of a lag because of the big time difference.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm assuming that they're already over there getting adjusted to it. I mean,
it's not as bad for them either. Like,
yeah, because they're on the West Coast.
On the West Coast, but it's still a couple of hours.
It is.
For sure.
Moving on to our last game that we are highlighting for the week, Oklahoma State and Baylor, 19-21 here. This is one that you had on your agenda. So let's hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, man, this is the prove it game for both of these teams, because we saw both of these teams upset ranked opponents last week, and in their own building. And I think this is the one that gets both of them over the hump to start thinking about the Big 12 title. You know, obviously Oklahoma is still atop everybody's list of favorites for the Big 12, but one of these two teams is going to come out of this game as number 2, in my opinion. Iowa State lost to Oklahoma State last week, to Baylor last week, and Oklahoma State knocked off number 25 K-State. So one of these two teams is going to walk out of this as the number 2 team in the Big 12. I'm going with Baylor, man. I like what Matt Rule did. They are still playing a good brand of football, getting good recruiting classes in there. I think they've finally, at this point, been able to put kind of the Art Briles fallout behind them. You know, not that we should ever just poo-poo what the fuck went on with Art Briles, but I think from a football perspective, they've finally been able to say, now we're playing football and we're not that Baylor anymore. So I pick Baylor here to win this game, and I think we're going to see a big game later in the season for Baylor when they could have the Big 12 title on the line.
This one was a tough one for me, but I'm still going to stick with my guns here on this one.
Guns, literally?
Literally. Yep. And I'm going Okie State on this one. Yeah. I agree with everything you said. This, I think, will be, this. I don't know about the number 2 team in the Big 12. I still think Iowa State still kind of holds that mark right now. I keep on thinking Texas is in the SEC already, but they're still in the Big 12. So I'm going Okie State on this one. I think it will be a shootout, though. I think this is where you're going to get, one of those 44, 50, 52.
This will be another fun one to watch.
Yeah, it will be, and it's a night game on ESPN too as well. So,
yep.
Moving on, we got number 20 UCLA, Arizona State. That's a night game at 10:30. I'm going with my boy Herm on this.
Really?
One. Yep, I'm going with Herm.
Oh, okay. Look, James asked about it earlier. -3 for UCLA feels, I don't know. Maybe I'm buying too much UCLA real estate, but I feel like 3's not enough. Give me UCLA rolling in this one by double digits probably.
All right. Good deal. There, you heard it there, little James. Next one. This is one that I kind of wanted to mark, but I didn't because I think LSU has turned the corner here a little bit. Auburn at Louisiana. LSU. Amy Trotnick. Ryan says UCLA. Ryan, you're a dumbass, so go. Joking. No, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. Gary's on board with you. He took it. The points are 3.5 right now. Gary's giving them at least 2 scores. So, but on this one, I'm going LSU, especially after the way Auburn played. And after the game, the next day, you fire your wide receivers coach after you just won. Now I know it was
that's a hashtag thanks Haskins moment.
Yeah, no.
Blaming the wide receivers coach for the way your defense played against Georgia State. Come on, seriously.
Oh, you might have to look at yourself in the mirror on that one.
Yes,
You're the OC.
You're the offensive coordinator. I don't get it, man. Your offense wasn't that great, but your defense got fucking bullied by Georgia State, and you fire your fucking wide. Unless he called your mom a hoe, like, what are you doing?
Oh man, I don't get that at all. I think there was just I saw a lot of chatter all over social media this week, and they're just like, "What is going? Like, why? And whatever." But I'm going LSU on this one.
Me too. I've got LSU. I'm with you. I think they've started to turn a corner to get back to the LSU we expected to see sustain after the national championship run. I was really, really taken aback by how bad they were last year. And I know COVID and whatnot, but they just they didn't look like a good football team last year.
Well, you lost so many kids
for sure
to the NFL there though too. But yeah. I mean,
I was just surprised how far.
Yeah, totally agree.
I think they're starting to become, that powerhouse that we're used to seeing with LSU.
Yeah. Again. Yep. All right. Moving on, last 3 games, you got NC State, Louisiana Tech. I got NC State on this one, especially coming off a victory.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh, Amy taking Auburn on that game. All right. Yeah.
Respect it.
Yeah.
Respect it.
We'll see what happens there.
Maybe the wide receiver coach was the problem.
Maybe. We'll see. 24, Wake Forest, Louisville. Wake Forest.
Surprise ranking.
Yeah. I'm going Louisville on this one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think we're running out of teams to put in the top 25. As you said, there's been a lot of losses in the top 25 early in the season, and we're seeing a lot of like turmoil and turnover within that top 25. I think Louisville's going to give us some more.
Yep. And then rounding out the top 25, Clemson, Boston College. Clemson shouldn't even be ranked, but they are.
How the fuck are they still at the top?
And this is what I'm going with. I'm going Boston College.
It's in Boston College, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going Boston College. That running game, I think, is gonna assert itself. They're gonna take control.
No, I'm sorry. It's at home.
Ooh,
at home.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm with you. Yeah. We're riding with the Eagles, man. We're riding with the Eagles.
Perfect.
Yep. I'm sticking with them.
Good deal.
Even in South Carolina.
Yep. That rounds out our top 25 and our games of the week. So just to recap real quick, before we take a quick 1-minute sponsor break. First game that we have, Iowa at Maryland. We are taking Maryland. We're taking the Turtle Train.
Yes.
All the way. Second game, we are split on this one. Alabama, Ole Miss. Gary takes Alabama. I'm taking Ole Miss. The student becomes the teacher.
Yeah.
Next one, we are split as well. Georgia, Arkansas. Gary takes the Bulldogs by a whopping 2-3 scores, I believe you said.
Yep.
I'm taking Woo Pig Suey on this one. Beating 3 top-ranked opponents to start the season. Cincy, Notre Dame.
We're split again.
We're split again. Gary's taking Notre Dame. I'm taking Cincy. And then Michigan, Wisconsin. We're on the same board there. We're both taking Michigan. We're on the fence on this one a little bit, but we're taking Michigan. And then the final game that we're picking, Oklahoma State, Baylor. And we're split on this one. Gary's taking Baylor. I'm taking Okie State. So those are your Tailgate Trash Talk picks of the week. Amy Trotnick, roll tide.
Roll tide.
Roll tide.
Roll tide. Roll tide.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate that. All right. We're going to take a 1-minute commercial break sponsored by PocketPairClub.com. Pocket Pair Club, club number 26881. Pocket Pair Club. All right, and welcome back to Tailgate Trash Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Big Stove. Alongside me is Mr. Gary Freeze, who probably went to go get another beer because, let's face it, you can't tailgate without having beer. So I know, Gary, that's where you went to go to the fridge, get yourself a beer. You know, you were on the
ladder.
You were on the Busch Latte.
I was on the Busch Latte last week.
You know, you were being a college student, broke college student back in the day, Busch Lattes. Well, I went a step further. I got myself a little natty.
Oh, yes.
Little natty.
I went Miller Lite this week. I debated Keystone too. So we may pull the Keystones out, man.
Like it.
I've got a shout out. I don't know that they sell this outside of even New York State, really, but I may have to try to next time I go home to grab some. It's called Genesee, and it's brewed up in New York State, and it's like the beer pong tailgate beer that we had when we were in college. It's like
solid.
It's like $12 for a 30 rack. And
gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Yeah, you always woke up, so we call them the Jenny Screamers you get the next morning.
Nice. Nice.
For one of these Wednesdays when I know I'm going to hate myself, I'll grab some Genesee.
There you go. All right, so just a little recap here. We got up next, we're going to do our Heisman stock report. Then we got a salute to service, top plays of the week, and then our new segment called Tailgating 101. So we'll try to hurry up through everything here so you guys can get to that for the new segment. But then right after that, we got a special promo that we will talk about. So stay tuned with us here. We'll get through everything here as quickly as possible. Won't keep you much longer. But without further ado, Mr. Gary, the Heisman stock report.
Heisman stock report.
Number 5 on your list.
Yeah, buddy.
I love it. I love the shout out to Grayson McCall with the Chanticleers. I love it.
I almost moved him up to 4. I was close. This dude, I watch him every week. I think I have a real soft spot for him because he reminds me of actually coincidentally the guy playing quarterback for Washington right now. When Taylor Heineke was at OU, I used him when I played NCAA football. Shout out. I hope it comes back sooner rather than later. I used him at ODU and won a bunch of national titles with him, drafted him in the NFL with Washington and played with him. So Grayson McCall reminds me a lot of him, and I think I have a real soft spot for McCall on top of the fact that the dude is uber productive.
Yeah.
So he's at number 5 for me.
Nice. I when you said that, my response was I fucking love that pick. I love it. Love it. Love the shout out there to Chanticleers. They're doing awesome things over there at Myrtle Beach. Want to get to
Conway.
Oh yeah. Nice little stadium too. Nice little area right there. Yeah. So
Richard Sherman Field at the stadium or something, right? Or vice versa. Or not Sherman, I'm sorry, Josh Norman.
Okay.
I think like the field or the stadium or something is named after him. Their biggest alumni, at least professionally.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm hoping to get to a game this year over there. So we'll see. But for my number 5, I got freshman running back Trayvon Henderson. Dude's a legit stud. Yes. I got him at number 5 just because he deserves some respect.
Yep.
He had that big game against Tulsa. It went off for 277. But for the season, he's got 439 yards, 6 tutties. But what's really getting me with him is his average, 9.5 yards per carry. But
that's silly.
But with all that being said, his only 100-yard rushing game came against Tulsa. So he came close last week. I think he had like 90, 93, 94.
They need to give him more fucking touches.
They do. They really do. But so I had to give credit where credit's due. Unfortunately, it's Ohio State.
Yeah.
Don't care for him.
Neither of us like that.
No. But, it's just one of those things where he's a freshman. He's going to be there for a while, I believe. So if he doesn't finish top 5 this year, look for him for next year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so.
Speaking of top 5, that dude might be a top 5 pick in the NFL in a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
He can do it all. He can catch the ball in the backfield too.
Yep.
So
yep.
They're looking at making a complete running back out of him.
Yep. Definitely. All right. So moving on here. Oh, buddy.
Yeah. I dropped him 1 this week. Not of anything he did. It's more of, what others did. Since he had a week off. So it was kind of a demotion, unfortunately, but I moved others up to I don't like moving him down because I like the guy a lot. And I think, I've made it clear if he wins this weekend, he's definitely my number 1. But
yeah. Well, my guy, Jake Haener, moved up a slot for his performance last week against UNLV. Dude is just a stud. And, he's got almost 1,900 passing yards, 15 tutties, only 2 INTs, and he's completing 73% of his passes.
Yeah.
So, but the drawback with him though is where he plays and the Pac-12
competition.
Exactly. So, I mean, five tutties against UNLV. Yeah, I mean, we saw it with Bryce Young last week against Southern Miss. Threw 5 tutties as well too. But gotta give the guy credit. He's accurate.
Oh yeah,
73% of his passes and only 2 INTs on the season. So. He moved up a spot for me. He was number 5 last week for me, but he's number 4 this week. So moving on, number 3 for the Heisman stock report.
Yep. This is a guy I moved up. I really like what he does within that offense. I think he brings a new element to that team. And I think this is James Franklin's best chance since he's been there to actually run the table in the Big Ten and potentially win a Big Ten title and potentially end up in the playoff. I think the schedule favors them a bit, and I really like what they bring offensively. So sliding Sean Clifford up, number 3. And again, like I said, I didn't slide Ritter down because of anything he did. I slid Clifford up. So
Nice. I like where your head's at with him. To me, I don't think he brings a lot to the passing game table, but I agree with you that he brings something out with the team. You know, his presence being out on the field and everything. Yes, I'm totally agree with you there. But I got Bryce Young at my number 3. He's got 15 tutties for the season as well. Only 1 INT, but he's completing about 72% of his passes as well. But like I said, you know, both these guys, both Bryce Young and Jake Haener, you know, if you take away their 5 touchdown games last week, you know, they're sitting at 10 tutties for their season through 4 games. I mean, you know, that's still a heck of a good number for anyone, you know, through 4 games. But Bryce Young is, you know, he's got the number 1. He's leading the number 1 team in the nation right now. So that's why he's ahead of my boy Haener for the time being. Now time will tell. But
Corey Yeoman, good timing. Any SEC quarterback that will make it in the NFL? I think so. I think there's a couple in the NFL right now that are going to succeed. I like Joe Burrow. I think he's going to succeed there in Cincy. There's clearly chemistry between him and Jamar Chase still.
Oh, yeah.
Jamar Chase can see the NFL ball, apparently.
Weird.
After all that weird reporting. Yeah.
Nope.
It's crazy how that works. You see a ball coming at your face. But and I think Mac Jones is set up for success in New England. I don't know that Mac Jones, like I don't see Mac Jones being a guy that's going to put up, you know, all the uber production, but I think in New England he's in a good place.
Yeah. Yep. All right, moving on to number 2 here in the Heisman stock report.
I like it. I like where you got Ritter. I don't mean to spoil your
no
preview here.
No, definitely. I mean, truthfully, I moved him up, and this is where I had who did I have here? Matt Corum, running back for Michigan last week. You know, I just didn't do much for me last week against a team where I thought, you know, they should have dominated. And so you're out and move Ritter up, you know, don't penalize it. Like you said, don't penalize him for having a bye week. So he moved up. So that's where I have Ritter. And, you know, we touched base on it already a couple times. You know, this game against Notre Dame is going to be his staple game. If, you know, it's his time to shine. It's there to take, and he's got to grasp it and take it. So
grab the bull by the haunches.
Yep.
For sure. Yeah, and I've got Bryce Young here. I think it's just that he's going to have gaudy stats all the way through the season, and that's gonna resonate with the Heisman crowd. He's in the SEC. They don't often, at least, you know, in recent history, they don't often penalize quarterbacks for how many weapons they have. So I think that Bryce Young's going to continue to be able to throw to all those loaded weapons at Alabama and continue to put up big stats. And I think that's going to keep him somewhere in the top 2, 3, 4 in the Heisman voting.
Nice. Corey, Alabama QBs do not fit in. The NFL is not college football.
I mean, he hasn't been wrong to this point. I think Mac Jones is in a good situation. Where he's at dictates a lot of what I think about his potential for success. I don't think Mac Jones could have gone to Jacksonville and succeeded, right? Like, yeah. I'll be 100%, you know, transparent about that. I don't think Mac Jones goes to Jacksonville and takes that team to glory. I think in New England, he's going to be allowed to grow and mature, learn the offense, learn the game, catch up with the speed of the game, and then become – I mean, they did it with Brady too, right? Like, the trajectory for Brady – like, Brady wasn't throwing 50 tutties in his fucking first couple of years. They brought him along with safe, easy throws, things that he could thrive on, and they're doing the same thing with Mac Jones.
Yep. Totally agree with you. And moving on to our number one, should be as no shock to anyone here. They're both pointing to him, baby. They're both pointing to him. It's his to lose. It's his to lose, in my opinion. And this game, I think, will be his coming out party here, so to speak, to where if he can have a dominant performance over an Alabama defense and take care of the ball, then yes, I think he secures that Heisman unless he just falls off the face of the earth, the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I want to take a moment, like I just want to appreciate the fact that you grabbed the powder blue jersey for Matt Corral. I wanted to say it last week, but I didn't say it last week. And I'm gonna say it this week because I appreciate the fact that you chose the powder blue for that. I think that is one of the sharpest uniforms in all of college football, bar none. Like that is such a sharp, clean uniform. Ole Miss, you're doing the damn thing with that uniform. I love the powder blue for them.
Yeah.
But this is the week, right? If Matt Corral comes out, win or lose, in my opinion, if Matt Corral comes out and throws, 4 tutties, has 300 yards, which I think he's going to do because I think it's going to be a shootout. I think we're going to see close to 100 points in this game. I think Matt Corral wins the Heisman this week with one exception, and that exception is what I mentioned earlier. If Ritter goes into Notre Dame, knocks off Notre Dame, and they run the table, I think Ritter could win himself the Heisman that way.
Yep, totally agree.
If Ole Miss does what you say they're going to do, though, and Matt Corral goes into Tuscaloosa and knocks off Alabama, Ritter might not be able to win the fucking thing. Honestly, if that happens, it might be over.
It could be. It could
Nail
be.
it the fuck in.
Yep, we'll find out come Saturday, won't we?
For sure.
Oh, love it. All righty. There is your top 5 Heisman stock watch for right now for the Tailgate Boys. Moving on, it's one of the things we love to do. We hate to do it, but we love to do it. We do it on our other podcast, the Backyard Blitz, on Thursdays. We carried it over here, and it's what we call our salute to service.
So this week's episode goes to Army Staff Sergeant Casey J. Hart, died June 8th, 2021, serving during Operation Inherent Resolve. This is one of those ones that he was actually in the line of duty, brought back home, and passed away at Walter Reed Medical Center. He was assigned to the 256th Infantry Brigade combat team out of Lafayette, Louisiana. He also worked as a patrol officer for the Baton Rouge Police Department. So a public servant in multiple career lines. So he was both a police officer for the Baton Rouge Police Department and a Louisiana National Guard soldier. He died from a non-combat incident at Al Tanf Garrison in Syria. Talked about it a little bit last week. Every once in a while we see these, right? We train like we fight like we train. And sometimes during non-combat exercises, bad things can happen because we are, riding that razor's edge when it comes to training, so that when we are faced with the heat of battle, we are prepared to make the proper decision when lives are potentially on the line. And unfortunately, during this non-combat exercise, Army Staff Sergeant Casey Hart was lost. And that, we have the watch.
Again, it's just one of those things where never gets easy doing those. Never gets easy.
Listen, I want to pass this Corey's way. Past names, man. let me know names. Let me know
Yeah,
the
definitely.
branch they were in. We'll shout them out on the show, man.
Definitely.
Heroes serving during World War II, like that's for sure. Pass me their names, pass me their information, and we'll get them shouted out on the show. Those are the best ones. We've had some guests on in the past that have talked about ones that hit home, guys they've served with. We've talked about some that hit home and are close to us. Those are the ones that really are the most impactful, at least for us directly. So if you've got service members in your family that were lost in the line of duty, friends, not necessarily just family, pass them along. We're happy to shout them out on the show. Those heroes serving in uniform. Absolutely, they deserve it.
Yep, they deserve it. So, all right.
And now the most difficult transition in all.
Exactly, it's one of those things where it never gets easier to transition from that to the next part of the show that we're going to do. So hopefully, this next transition into our top plays will kind of brighten the spirits back up and get everyone back in the mood for college football here. But this next thing are our top plays of last week. So tailgate trash talk, top plays of the week. Here we go.
Yeah.
Blitz, that's what they're in.
Number 33
at number 8 here.
A couple of times.
Did he get his hands under it? It looks like it. Monteric Brown has got it.
At Morgantown, it's kind of a committee tight end for Fuentes Hokies. Here's Burmeister throwing end zone again.
Man.
Turner, did he get the foot down? He did on the
I don't even know why I put it at number 7.
He put the air bike on.
Oh, man.
3 to the top for Stanford.
Number 6.
That's where McKee wants to go, to the corner. And it is caught, but
those ones always
it is a
touchdown.
touchdown.
Around somebody.
Bryson Tremaine with the catch.
Things going with DJ and Will Shipley and some of the young guys that are stepping in now.
Garcia to the end zone. Was that a one-handed grab? Incomplete.
They ruled it incomplete here.
It looked like Brinson had made a spectacular catch. Officials right on top of it, incomplete.
Great effort by Romello Prince. I don't know. They may look at this.
Yeah, they ruled it incomplete on the field.
Goodness. Ball never hits the ground.
I mean, he controlled that football. Did he go out of bounds?
With the right hand.
He stood up. His hand looked like it was right underneath it. Oh,
there it is.
Got him in. Doesn't move. No, that's a touchdown,
that's
baby.
That's a catch. His hand underneath the ball. This is a better angle of it.
He caught that with his face mask almost.
David Tyree.
Hey, faces count too. 2nd and 7. Leary has tons of time into the end zone.
Got it. Going crazy.
That's such a great game.
I was going crazy.
What a play by the Wolfpack. Here, you're going to watch this catch. Oh, look, he gets it in the breadbaskets, both feet.
Nick Bourgeois will kick it off.
That's number 1 and 2 here.
Yeah.
Williams wants to bring it out. Got a seam.
Watch
got speed. Got touch at the 35, but stayed up. What a way to start the game.
Just running away from people.
Touchdown, Alabama 100. I mean, how is it?
What a way to start.
Forward. Well, TJ Finley made plays at the end of that game when he had to, so you got to imagine. Here's a playmaker, Jameson Williams again. On the run again. Down the sideline. It's his second kickoff return for a score of the night.
To number 1.
Williams.
When he's at his top end speed right there.
Remember last time we
God. That dude is so
and you, You messaged me saying that was the first time, first player in Alabama history to have a kickoff return for a touchdown, and he had 2 of them.
Yeah,
crazy. With all those athletes that they've had, that's a crazy stat.
They've never had 2 in a game. It's unbelievable.
Ryan Trodnick, and that's why the tide rolled. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. So those were the Tailgate Trash Talks top plays of last week. If you guys think that there should be some different ones, send them our way. We'll get them on there. So moving on, this next segment is new for this week, and I think it's going to be a staple tradition, and it's going to be something that we're going to allude to here after we talk a little bit. And it's going to be something that you, the fans, you, the listeners, the watchers, wherever you are going to want to partake in. So this next segment is called Tailgating 101. Tailgate giveaway, baby. Tailgate giveaway. So Tailgating 101. What makes up a tailgate? What are your, let's say, top 4 items that you must have when you go tailgate?
Absolutely. Light beer, because you want to make a day of it.
Sure.
Right? Light beer to maintain hydration and kick up the buzz. You got to have a charcoal grill because it's portable.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have dogs, brats, burgers to put on that charcoal grill. And, of course, you've got to have games, right? Whatever your game of choice is, but you've got to have something that's going to allow everybody to engage, a little bit of competition to start the day off before you go in and watch a football game. So cornhole, I know spike ball is kind of a thing now, but cornhole, beer pong, flip cup, something to get the juices flowing.
What is spike ball? I've never heard of this.
It's this like trampoline thing that like is popular. You spike the ball and you're playing with teams. I don't know. Maybe it's not as popular as I think it is. Some of my friends play it. You're tailgating. You're bringing with you a trampoline. It's small. It's like 2 foot wide.
One of those like exercise trampolines.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're just spiking the ball on it and hitting the ball back and forth. But
that's wasted cooler space.
I don't disagree with you. Right? You got the cornhole boards. You can put the cooler, you can slide them in, put the cooler right next to them, that sort of thing. So
all right.
We'll kick spike ball out of consideration, but
spike
can jam's another one, but
spike
yeah, that's probably true.
That is the truth. And I will make a shout out to you, Mr. Ryan Tronick. You are one of the better playing cornhole people I have seen in my life. So shout out to you. You are good. Yes, you heard it from me. Okay. I will not ever say this again. So you had your moment.
First
right
and
there.
Only.
That's a good choice right there. The beer, the light beer. I like how you said light beer because very true.
Make a day of it, baby.
Gotta make a day of it. Depending on when you're starting, when your game is, and everything else. Sure. Definitely. Charcoal grill. Easy. You said portable.
Yep.
Hamburgers, hot dogs, brats, whatever. Yep. You got to have some sort of food, and then games. Obviously, I mean, what better way to pass the time and everything else than drinking games while you're tailgating?
Bags.
Exactly. So I'm right there with you. That's a great top 4. Obviously the beer, the ice, the cooler, the treasure chest, so to speak. So in my treasure chest, okay, and this is one item for me, okay, because I'm hauling it in the back of my truck. So I'm going to have the beer. I'm going to have the brats. I'm going to have the ice. I'm going to have the burgers. I'm going to have the cheese. So that's all. I'm lumping that all into one item.
Efficiency.
Exactly. So that's my treasure chest. So that's item number 1. Okay. Item number 2. Yes. Instead of a charcoal grill, I'm going to go with the little campfire propane grill. Okay. Just a little bit easier, to maneuver. Yeah. Yep. One less bag of charcoal to put in the back of the truck as well. Next item would be lawn chairs and a pop-up tent. So that's all kind of one as well.
Because somewhere to sit.
It kind of goes, somewhere to sit with the shade if it's sunny out or raining, and then fourth, friends, because if you don't have friends there, who the hell are you going to drink with? Who the hell are you cooking?
Who are you going to play cornhole with?
Who are you going to play cornhole with? Let them bring the cornhole. You're bringing the food. Let them bring the cornhole. So friends and the Trotniks, they can attest to this. When we lived back in Kansas, and we were tailgating there for the football games, we had a nice little fifth wheel camper. We'd pull out there and had outdoor kitchen. We were grilling. We were smoking something. We had the TV going, playing some college football, and we had cornhole going. So, good times. Good times. I'd love to hear what your guys' comments are on that. Corey, you're all drunk. Who cares about hot dogs and booze? That it can get to that. Yes, it definitely can get to that.
That GIF with the chick of the pack of hot dogs flying under. That's Corey.
But shoot us a message on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Let us know what your guys' top tailgate items are, and that leads us to the first ever Tailgate Trash Talk tailgate giveaway. Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, right.
Right? So, tailgate giveaway. We want you guys to send us your videos of you guys tailgating this weekend at a football game. If you're going to a football game, send us your tailgate videos of you guys cooking, grilling, shouting out your team's fight song, playing games, whatever the case may be, and send them to us. Send them to us via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or email them to us at tailgatetrashtalkcfb@gmail.com. Again, that's tailgatetrashtalkcfb@gmail.com. And the winners of we're going to pick. How many do you want to pick, Gary? How many winners do you want to pick for this first giveaway?
Let's pick 3 for the first one.
3 winners for this giveaway. Winners will be announced on next week's episode. We'll save it for next week's episode. Send us your videos this weekend of you guys all tailgating, and we will pick 3 different winners at random for some tailgate merchandise. It'll probably be maybe some koozies to hold your beers. Maybe it might be a cornhole set. Maybe it might be some Yetis. Maybe it could be an ice chest with our logo on it, or maybe some t-shirts to give away. I don't know, but that's the fun of it. Send us your videos and win free shit.
Free 99.
Even football. Sure, if you're tailgating at a
look, if you're at a football game and if you're tailgating there, you might just win automatically.
Yes. Send us your videos. We want to see your videos. If you have my number,
youth flag football.
Yeah, if you have my number, you can text them to me. If you have Gary's number, you can text it to him. But if you don't, send them to us on Facebook. Email them to us at tailgatetrashtalkcfb@gmail.com. With your budget, I don't think so. Corey, you've never met me. I don't have a budget, bud. So that is your guys' goal and plan for the weekend when you guys are tailgating at this weekend's football games. Send us those videos.
Get Buffalo Bills flag football games.
Dude, man. If you did that, I'll send you the cornhole, the cooler, the shirt, the koozie, and the Yeti just to see this. I'll get you set up there, Ryan.
Of course,
shirtless. Of course.
Is there any other way?
No.
Table on fire.
So that is the first ever Tailgate Trash Talk tailgate giveaway right there. Send us your videos of you guys tailgating this weekend, and we will pick 3 random winners on next week's episode, and we will send out free merch. Again, send us your videos, tailgate trash talk cfb@gmail.com. Shoot them to us if you have our telephone numbers. Shoot them to us on Facebook. We will pick 3 random winners on next week's episode.
Yeah, buddy.
Man, good times. Good times. We're almost at 2 hours. We went about half hour longer than we did last week, but we had a lot more stuff to talk about this week. We had
a great week of games.
Great week of games last week. Better week of games this week, and could possibly be even better next week.
Tremendous week next week. Could be.
Could be. Ryan on fire and shirtless. They are kids. They go fast.
Put kids through them.
Oh man, kill me. Nobody puts me through it. And I just, well, then I guess you guys
still went through the table.
Yeah. Oh man. But thank you guys for tuning in today for episode 2 of the Tailgate Trash Talk podcast. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're there. And this is another great weekend of college football ahead, bud.
Hell yeah.
Can't wait to watch them. Can't wait.
Friday too.
Starting Friday, baby.
Starting Friday.
Cannot wait.
Absolutely. Love you guys as well.
Appreciate you guys commenting throughout the episode. It makes it much more fun for us. We love the interaction. We love the trash talk. Again, that's what this podcast is all about. Tailgate Trash Talk, where we can talk college football and trash talk about other people's teams and our own. So with that being said, my man Gary Freeze, thank you again. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Backyard Blitz at 9 o'clock. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it. And thank you.